I was emotional this morning when I ran into this. And you know me, I'm a crier.
Yeah.
Amporkella.
Wow.
I think if the lady that housed me, Sis Katu, if she didn't knock on my door, I think I would have been crying.
Why? What's wrong?
Because I saw this a TikTok of a lady that she's crying and she's trying to relay the story.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I've just seen a TikTok of a lady that says, when I die, please bury me in my comfortable clothes and sneakers and tie them tight. Because when I get to the other side, I've got a play date with a little boy.
Oh.
And it turns out she had had a miscarriage and never ever had children.
Oh.
So she says, when I die, please tie my shoes really tight. And somebody commented, I can see him now saying, there's my mommy.
No. That is beautiful. Okay. That is beautiful.
And then under that, people started writing those things to say, hey, when I die, please put me in comfortable clothes because I've got 3 kids that never came to this world that are waiting to see what their mommy looked like.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then it got me thinking to say, when in the conversation between you and I and our courting and, you know, we were heading towards marriage, we're married, when in this conversation do we speak about what if I, Andile, can't have kids?
Oh, that is a good one.
What if you, Faith, can't have kids? And you know how it sits on the women more than on the men.
100%.
There's swear words. And I say it's a swear word, although it's a proper Zulu name, Inyumba, that you get called by, which means you're a barren woman. Those names get thrown upon you. But this happens when we're trying to have kids and we're already married or we're already in a relationship. When do we have conversations about what if one of us cannot conceive? When do those conversations happen? And do we have those conversations? And thereafter, do we put up safeguards to say this is our plan if that is, if we can't, and I as Andile want this Ncube surname to carry on and I want children, or you, Faith, have always wanted to have kids, you've always wanted a little girl to model after yourself or a boy to model after your father or whatever else. When are these conversations had, if they are had, and how do we have them?
That is such a beautiful question. Don't have these conversations with the situationship because you're wasting your time. Don't have conversations with a person who has not said up front, I see a future with you, or I want to marry you. Because, and more importantly, it's don't have these conversations if you're not ready for the commitment part, because you're wasting somebody else's time, right? So when you start having conversations of, we are exclusive, okay, so it's me and you and there's nobody else in between. B, this relationship has got direction. Then we need to start talking about, if this relationship is going to Durban, what routes are we using to get there, right? Do we want a wedding? Do we want children? How many children do we want? What if we can't have children? And I think particularly me, this one got me the most because I'm dealing with it in many aspects in my life where I find that because I want children and I've always wanted children and as a result of family dynamics, and so a lot of things like my relationships have been put off, and so I'm having children a bit later in my life. I had to sit down and ask the question, do I want children with you or do I want children just? Right? Because there's 2 different things. Because if I want children with you, and it turns out you can't have kids because you've got a low sperm count or there's something wrong with you, am I going to divorce you and move on to another man just so that I can have children? That's a difficult conversation. Because it's, do I want children or do I want children with you? Right? And oftentimes we get told that, don't have children unless you are prepared to raise them by yourself. Not because you are planning for a separation, but because you are genuinely knowing and equipping yourself to be a person who is able to look after that they bring into the earth, right? So you have to decide of, do I want children or do I want children with you? If you want children with your partner, I see a father in Andile. I see the way you are with your girls and the way you are with your children. I want my children to also experience that. If I say I want children with you and you can't have children, does that mean that in the event that you can't have children, I say that's it, period, we're leaving? And if I just want children, does that mean I can go to a sperm donor? Right? And get a sperm donor. And then what would happen if I Faith am the problem? Right? And I want children and we find out that I can't have children, what then? Am I going to resent you? Am I going to resent everything? Do we explore adoption? And I'm asking these questions without an answer because I think every answer is dependent on the couple. I think it is unfair for us to prescribe an answer that is right for someone. For some people, because they want children and they want children badly, whether it's Andile or Tsepo or a sperm donor, they want children. And Andile, if you can't have children, I'm sorry, I have to leave. I have to be with somebody who can. And that person has got the right to feel like that. They do. They've got a right to feel like that. Similarly, if you're saying, no, if Andile is not the father of my children, I don't want to.
I'm happy.
Because I'm happy.
This is
the person. Not because he's not the father, not because he doesn't want to. It's just because we can't. I'm happy.
But we have these conversations before we
have these conversations before, way before I do. We have these conversations when you and I are still saying we are going in this direction. We are courtship. These are the conversations to have at courtship, because I think because it's so difficult, I think a lot of us don't want to have these conversations until after we're married and then we act surprised. Don't have these conversations after you sign.
Because now you're resenting this woman that's sitting here because you want children.
Because you want children. Or can I tell you something else that we do very quickly? Do you know what we do, especially us as women? We like to change your minds.
Yeah, I'm going to change his mind.
We like
he doesn't want kids now.
He doesn't want kids
it's
now,
fine.
but I'm going to change your mind.
You're not going to change my mind.
He's not going to change.
There's fundamentals that you're not going to change. And most of them are normally children, religion, things like that.
Yeah.
You can't change those fundamentals.
And if it's not for you, right? If a man says, I don't want children, please don't hear, I don't want children yet.
Right now.
Yeah. Because a lot of us hear, I don't want children yet. No. He said, I don't want children, period. And if somebody says, I don't want children, leave.